I'd like to call the Onslow County Board of Commissioners meeting for Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024 to order at this time. And we'll start with the invocation by Assistant County Manager Janelle Galloway, and then she will continue that with the invocation and then to the Board of the Pledge of Allegiance. Janelle.
Thank you, sir. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you and conduct the business of Onslow County. Lord, we thank you for the year that has passed and the many blessings you have given us. As we make our resolutions for the year ahead, let us go forward with great hope that all things can be possible. May all we do this day bring you honor and glory. Amen. Now, with deep respect and reverence for all of the faith's beliefs, traditions, and those gathered here today, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need to recognize our visitors here with us this morning, elected officials. In the back, Sheriff Chris Thomas, welcome to 2024, sir. Thank you for being here. And I think that's all the elected this morning.
Got Barry here.
And then our superintendent of Onslow County Schools, Dr. Barry Collins, is here as well. Did I miss anybody? All right, fantastic. We ask that all in attendance please set your cell phones to silent or vibrate mode. The board offers the public one opportunity to speak during the meeting. Comments should be limited to no more than 5 minutes and may be on any issue upon which the Board of Commissioners has control. In accordance with the board's adopted rules of procedure, commissioners shall reserve responses, if any, for the commissioner comment period on the agenda. With that being said, we need a motion to adopt today's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, agenda has been adopted. Unless someone has something they'd like removed from the consent agenda and considered separately.
Motion approved.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, hearing none, consent agenda is approved. Mr. Smitherman, public comment time.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. We do not have anyone signed up for public comment this morning.
Fantastic. So we'll move right into item 4, and we have 3 public hearings, and we'll turn that over to you, Mr. Smitherman.
I would like to ask Planning Director Carter Metcalf to come up and present the first item, Trot Road rezoning.
Good morning, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and County Commissioners. The first item before us this morning is the Trot Road rezoning request. It is PREZ 2023, number 25. The applicant is Campbell Storage Solutions, LLC, and the owner is Christopher Baisden. Overview of the request is as follows. The requested change is from residential 8 manufactured, or R8M, to highway business, or HB. The tax map number is 31-107.5. The location is at 105 Trot Road and is in the Richlands Township. Rezoning area is 3.93 acres, and the property currently sits vacant. Previously, it was a manufactured home park. An overview of the services: there's water serviced by the area by Northwest Onslow. The wastewater is an 8-inch Onwassa sewer force main along Kinston Highway, where individual septics are available. The fire service is Northwest Onslow with an ISO rating of 5. Most recent traffic count comes from 2019. We have a trip count of 21,000, staff estimated capacity over 26,000. Schools are Richlands Elementary, Trexler Middle, and then Richlands High School. Take a look at the zoning. See the property there in pink is currently R-8M, with the adjacency of that medium blue color to be the highway business in the area. You can see it's centered along the intersection of Trot Road and Kinston Highway. And compare the 2 zoning districts. Residential 8 manufactured has a minimum lot size of 8,000 square feet. And the purpose of the zoning district is to accommodate moderate to high-density single-family as well as multifamily, with a specific emphasis on manufactured housing, and more so of our urbanizing areas of the county that have the infrastructure to accommodate it. The proposed zoning district is highway business, has no minimum lot size. And the intent of this district is to accommodate regional scale commercial uses and foster economic development along major highway corridors, again, where there's sufficient infrastructure. Now we'll take a look at the comprehensive plan. The property is identified in two categories. First, and this will be denoted in blue on the next map, is agriculture forestry, and this is to preserve large areas which have the high potential to be or are actively being farmed or forested, and of course in an economically sustainable manner. And the other is the area-wide commercial activity center, and this is going to be denoted in a yellow beige color in our next map. And it's to accommodate uses that are focused on auto-oriented uses. You can see such as those in distribution, warehousing, something that's going to involve vehicular traffic of a high nature. Now we'll look at the map and see that their area-wide commercial activity center was centered on that intersection of Trott Road and Kinston Highway, lines up with the highway business zoning, and then as well that darker blue is the agriculture forestry. There's no environmental conditions other than the part of the property there is along the prong of Bucks Branch Stream, but no regulated flood zones on the property. No wetlands have been submitted at this time. Now look at reasonableness in the public interest. Could be considered reasonable because there is adjacent and in the surrounding area other highway business. And highway business is a corresponding category to area-wide commercial activity center. Lines up with several policies of the comprehensive plan that we support business and we want to be an economically growing county. The proposed rezoning may be considered unreasonable because highway business doesn't line up with agriculture forestry. Now we'll take a look at what happened in planning board. Planning board met on October 5th and voted unanimously to recommend approval of the request. The applicant spoke on behalf of the application and no citizen spoke against it. Take a look at the aerial view, so you can see the surrounding community. If you're driving up by that way, you might know the new neighborhood that's being built nearby or the Walmart that's up there. You would have just passed the Walmart on your left if you're headed up towards the site. Look a little bit closer. You can see there's some other commercial operations there along Kinston Highway, immediately adjacent to the development. And as well, this is what the property looks like, and you can see our required zoning sign that we had to post. Now this concludes the staff presentation. It is respectfully requested that the chairman is authorized to sign all of the necessary documents and adopt a consistency statement.
So we're ready to start the hearing with any speakers now, I think it is?
Yes, sir. At this time, we will open the public hearing, and we have one speaker. I do not know the gentleman's last name. He's of 157 Heritage Way. John, if you could please spell your name for the record.
Good morning, John Fonville, Fonvielle. I'm here simply on behalf of Campbell Storage Solutions to answer any questions or issues that you might want to bring forward today.
Thank you. You just want to have a seat there in the front row. If we have any questions, we'll get you up there quickly to hear that. No other speakers? So we have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just have a question for Mr. Metcalf.
Yes, ma'am.
So although I'm generally in support of this because it makes sense that we would turn this into a highway business zone, my question for you, and I know you don't have a magic ball to look into the future, but with the traffic count being so close to the capacity that you have projected, how might that impact the future road system there in your experience from other areas?
Absolutely. As commercial developments come along, they submit a site plan to the county, and we review it. And part of our technical review committee is NCDOT, and part of their response is if the applicant is required to do any sort of transportation improvements.
Okay.
So often when you get above a commercial scale, such as producing a certain amount of trips per day, or during peak periods, such as morning rush hour or evening rush hour, you may have to make transportation improvements. Those are always limited in scope, could be immediately adjacent to the development, such as like a turn lane into that, or potentially any sort of improvements at Kinston Highway and Trot Road. But DOT, as well as Jumbo, take a look at that, the Jacksonville Urban Metropolitan Planning Organization, and provide those transportation technical advice to the applicant and guide them through the process.
Okay.
But certainly that happens whether a roadway is nearing capacity, over capacity, or way under. If you're impacting traffic, you may have to mitigate that.
Okay. I was just assuming that it was going to, if we're turning highway business and we have like 5,000 left, you know, and it's a very trafficked area. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Any more discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. So I think Mr. Metcalf is going to come back up again.
Good morning, Board. The second item is the Roberts rezoning, Period Z 2023, number 27. The applicant are also the owners, and is Kyle and Jason Roberts. Overview of the request is requested change from highway business to rural agriculture, or HB to RA. There's 4 properties in consideration. Their tax map numbers are 747-20.8, 747-20.9, 747-20.12, and 747-20.13. There's multiple addresses that are at the property. 2 of the primary ones are 8523 and 8525 Wilmington Highway. It's located in Stump Sound Township along Highway 17 and is total across all 4 pieces of property, 8.061 acres, and the existing use is low-density residential. Take a look at the services for the property. There's a 12-inch Onslow water line along Wilmington Highway. Wastewater in the area is individual septics. While there is nearby sewer, this area is served by septic systems. The fire service is South Onslow or Holly Ridge with an ISO rating of 5. And in 2021, we had the trip count of 24,000 with a staff estimated capacity of 49,000. The schools in the area are Coastal Elementary, Dixon Middle, and Dixon High School. And we take a look at the zoning. You can see the 4 properties there in red with the hatching, and the blue is highway business, and then our green is rural agriculture. Compared to the 2 zoning districts, current zoning is highway business, no minimum lot size, and the purpose of this district is to accommodate regional scale commercial uses and foster economic development along our major highway corridors. While in the proposed rezoning is rural agriculture, minimum lot size is 20,000 square feet, and it's to maintain a rural development pattern that preserves the agricultural character of the county while accommodating limited low-density single-family and limited commercial uses. The comprehensive plan identifies the property as medium-density residential, and the purpose of that district is to provide for predominantly stable single-family residential areas and accommodating planned multifamily and some commercial. Take a look at the comprehensive plan. You can see that whole area there in blue is that medium-density residential. Now to look at reasonableness in the public interest, it could be considered reasonable because there's adjacent and in the surrounding area rural agriculture zoning. There's a number of policies in the comprehensive plan that would support this, speaking to allowing for a diverse set of housing in the county. While the proposed rezoning could be considered unreasonable because medium-density residential doesn't align with rural agriculture, however, rural agriculture is a step towards conformity. So currently it's commercial, and then you would have a medium-density residential designation, while rural agriculture is residential compared to the medium-density residential. So it, if approved, would be closer to corresponding than currently, and there's few policies in the comprehensive plan that align for having appropriate housing. Now, Planning Board met on October 5th and voted unanimously to recommend approval of the request. The applicant was unable to attend and had communicated with staff prior to that, and no citizens spoke against the proposal. We'll take a look at the property here. You can see there it's zoomed out, or its general location right before the bend as you're coming up the Folkston Road from Holly Ridge. A little bit of a closer look here. You can see residential structures on the property. You can see the nearby general rental. If you're driving up along Wilmington Highway, you might know about where that is. As well, you can see what it's going to look like from the road. So as respectfully requested, the Board of Commissioners consider the proposed zoning map amendment of PRZ 2023 number 27, adopt a consistency statement for the amendment, and authorize the chairman to sign the necessary documents on behalf of the county. Concludes the staff presentation. Are there any questions at this time?
Thank you, sir. I think we'll open up the hearing.
Yes, sir.
now.
We'll open the public hearing, and at this time, we have only one speaker, Kyle Roberts.
I'm Kyle Roberts, Roberts, Chairman Foster and Commissioners. I'm available for any questions.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. No other speakers? All right.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. And I think, Carter, you're coming back for your third trip, and I believe this is is this your final trip, sir?
I believe so, yes, sir. For our third and final item with planning, it's the Forestry Center rezoning request, PRZ 2023 number 30. The applicant is John Sanders, and he's on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Endowment Fund of North Carolina State University. Now, overview of the request is changed from conservation zoning to rural agriculture. Tax map number is 1999-23.3. The location is at 111 Forestry Center Circle and is in the White Oak Township. The rezoning area is 14.65 acres, and the current use of the property is a forestry operation. The water for the property is an 8-inch Onslow water line along New Bern Highway, or also US 17, and the wastewater in that area is for individual septic systems. The fire service is for Pumpkin Center and is an ISO rating of 4. And along New Bern Highway in 2021, we had a trip count of 12,500. With staff estimated capacity of 49,000. Schools servicing the property is Morton Elementary, Hunters Creek Middle School, and White Oak High School. Take a look at the zoning. You can see this tract was formerly a part of the Hoffman Forest Tract, subdivided out, and that's the 14 acres you see there. And the teal is the conservation zoning, while the green is the rural agriculture zoning. Current zoning is conservation. There's no minimum lot size, and the purpose of this district is to preserve certain land and/or water areas that serve as wildlife refuges, possess natural beauty, are utilized for outdoor recreation, or provide needed open space or environmentally sensitive. While the purpose of rural agriculture is to maintain a rural development pattern that preserves the agricultural character of the county while accommodating limited low-density single-family and limited commercial uses. The minimum lot size is 20,000 square feet. The purpose of the conservation category, so it's in the future land use for conservation, is to accommodate environmentally sensitive areas, such as those that are floodplains, open space, or those that are recreation. Appropriate uses are parks, playgrounds, open space, campsites, and greenways, hunting clubs, and certain agricultural uses. Take a look at the comprehensive plan here. You can see in the light blue is that conservation category. Obviously follows this tract and falls along the stream bed to the north. All the other categories of the agriculture forestry in the darker blue. The medium blue is medium density residential. Take a look at reasonableness in the public interest. The proposed rezoning may be considered reasonable due to other rural agriculture zoning in the surrounding area. It's supported by a number of policies of the comprehensive plan, such as Onslow County's desire to support commercial forestry and make sure that we're supporting it when it's done in an economically sustainable manner. It may be considered unreasonable because rural agriculture would not align with a future land use category of conservation. And then we have two policies speaking to the desire to preserve the Hoffman Forest. We'll take a look at Planning Board met at December 17th in 2023 and voted unanimously to recommend approval of the request. The applicant spoke on behalf of it, and there was no citizen speaking against it. We'll take a look at the property. See there, its general location. We may know the Deppie Park in Hoffman, which is there. You can see right above the label of New Bern Highway. So you get your relative location of the property. Take a little bit of a closer look. You can see there's multiple structures there that do support the forestry operation work there, as well as previous uses on the property. And then this is what now it looks like on site. This is the left side. You can see some of the trees there, as well as some of the structures there on the property. So it's respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners consider the proposed zoning map amendment, or PRZ 2023 number 3, and adopt a statement of consistency for the amendment and authorize the chairman to sign the necessary documents on behalf of the county. This concludes the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Metcalf. We'll open the public hearing, and Mr. Smitherman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The speaker is John Sanders. May come forward.
Good morning, Board. So I'm John Sanders, 111 Forestry Center Circle. I submitted the zoning application on behalf of the Board of Endowments and NC State University, and I've been deeply connected with this site for the past 26 years because I've been employed there. And before that, I spent part of my childhood chasing my grandfather around the site. I'd like to give y'all a brief history of this site, dating back to the 30s when Doc Hoffman and the Forestry Foundation purchased the property known as 111 Forestry Center Circle. It was established as the headquarters for forestry operations at Hoffman. This was the location of the forester's offices, equipment depot, staff quarters for the men working in Hoffman Forest. The original foundation office still exists on site today. From the 40s to the 80s, several paper companies used the site while they managed the timber that they possessed and timber lease on the forest. Coastal Forestry Corporation operated at the site while they managed the forest from the 80s until 2007. In 2007 to 2016, the foundation managed the property directly, and all management operations were coordinated from this site. In 2016, a change in forest management resulted in less activity and use of the site for Hoffman Forest. Throughout the decades, the various management changes, the site itself has changed. Improvements have been made to the site roads, the equipment yard, and the buildings. One thing that has not changed over time is the mission of Hoffman Forest and its assets as set forth by Doc Hoffman and the foundation. Those missions were to provide an outdoor classroom and laboratory for NC State forestry students and faculty, to provide forestry demonstration, and to provide financial support to the College of Natural Resources at NC State. In the past, this site has been very active with heavy equipment and personnel focused on managing the forest. Now the forest management activities are conducted by local private contractors, which is a good thing. The downside is that this means this asset is currently not being used to its fullest potential. Today, there's very little activity on site as I'm the only one employed there full-time. Since 2017, we have sought to find a tenant to lease the buildings and equipment yard. This has proven to be a very difficult task. Late last summer, we found a prospective tenant, and this brings me to why we're here today asking for this change. Under conservation zoning, our prospective tenant cannot occupy this site. So we're asking for a zoning change from conservation to rural agriculture so that our prospective tenant can establish a contractor office on site. As indicated, the planning staff report, the zoning change would support several policies in the comprehensive plan. So we're asking for this zoning change to make better use of an asset that's currently not providing the College of Natural Resources, Hoffman Forest, or Onslow County any benefit. In fact, the asset is a dead draw on our budgets. The cost of maintenance, utilities, and upkeep are substantial burdens, and we do not believe zoning change is adverse to Hopping Forest itself nor the surrounding community. On the contrary, we believe this will provide an opportunity for commercial and economic growth for Onslow County with no negative impacts. Also, given the existing improvements to the site and the existing buildings on site, rural agriculture seems like a more appropriate zoning than conservation. Lastly, by approving this change, we have the potential to increase funding to the College of Natural Resources, supporting forestry students, management responsibilities, research opportunities, and demonstration opportunities, which is all part of the mission set forth by Doc many years ago. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Appreciate it.
That's it. We may close the public hearing.
All right, thank you, sir.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions?
Yeah, I just had one question is, how will the contractor use those existing facilities and what's going to take place there?
He'll be storing equipment in the buildings and in the yard and making his hub of operations from there. The potential tenant is a culvert pipeline cleaning service that's looking to expand their office from middle of the state to the East Coast.
So storage of equipment,
Yeah.
basically?
Same stuff that we've been doing for decades.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any more discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very much, and we are public hearings for rezoning on item 4. That was the last one, so we're moving to the general items. And item 5, Mr. Smitherman.
Yes, sir. I'm going to ask Ms. Christina Russell, our head of purchasing, to come up and present the next surplus land item.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. So the Board of Commissioners accepted the following offers of the sale of surplus real property. These were under parcel number 059411, Adamore Road. The initial offer came in at $3,182.26. We did receive upset bids on this parcel. The final offer was $7,200. The other parcel was 028668 Sylvester Street. The initial offer was $4,075.50, and the upset final offer came in at $5,000. These were advertised in the Jacksonville Daily News as required by statute. With us receiving upset bids, we are bringing these back before the Board of Commissioners for consideration. And if the board approves the final offers, the property will be sold as is. Deeds will be prepared transferring the properties, and then the properties will then be removed from the county's asset file. It is respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners consider the final offers for the surplus real properties.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Russell.
Mr. Chairman, next we'll have our tax administrator, Kevin Turner, come up to explain, offer an item regarding our commercial appraisal contract.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners. Onslow County is contracted with Coastal Carolina Appraisals LLC, now operating as Allen and Mashburn Consultants LLC, to assist with evaluation and assessment of commercial properties for the recently conducted 2022 countywide reappraisal. This proved to be an effective approach, and the tax office desires to continue and expand this approach as work begins on the next countywide reappraisal scheduled for January 1st, 2026. The proposed multi-year service agreement provides that the role of Allen and Mashburn Consultants, LLC, will expand to include maintenance of all commercial valuations during the non-revaluation years, as well as developing the commercial schedule of values and commercial assessments for the 2026 countywide reappraisal. It's respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners consider approval of the service agreement with Allen and Mashburn Consultants, LLC, in the amount of $225,000, and authorize the chairman to sign on behalf of the county. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Motion,
Motion approved.
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just want to say one thing. For the people that are watching on G10 or wherever it may be, and for those that are here, if you read this commercial appraisal contract, it's about the reevaluation that's going to occur in 2026 again. So, when I hear people talk about that the commissioners raised property taxes, we did not raise property taxes. The appraisal came in, which is mandated by North Carolina general statute. And I want to make sure everybody understand that it's mandated by North Carolina general statute for us to do it every 8 years. And we decided in Onslow County to do it every 4 years to lessen the tax burden on the citizens. In fact, this Board of Commissioners has voted to reduce the tax rate. And I want to make that very clear so there's just no misunderstanding out there. Once again, the Onslow County Commissioners did not vote to raise taxes. We voted to lessen the tax rate. We can't affect the tax appraisal, which were required by North Carolina general statute. And that appraisal is coming for all of you out there that are watching what the tax rate is doing or what we're being taxed. It's coming again in 2026 because it's 4 years from the date of the last one. So I just wanted to make that very perfectly clear because there's some verbiage out there that is misinforming the public. And I'll say it one more time. The Onslow County Commissioners did not raise property taxes. We voted to lessen the tax rate. All right? I just wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Kevin, does the commercial appraisal, do they randomly reappraise, or is there some kind of systematic way that they're going through the county reappraising commercial property?
They'll begin doing site visits. If the contract is approved, they would begin doing site visits in January to update any listing issues, condition, things of that nature. And in 2025, they would begin reviewing sales data and income data that they've gathered for the southeastern region of the state to arrive at the values for January 1st.
So how do they choose the sites to visit?
We have them coded as commercial properties. Improved, undeveloped, vacant parcels that are coded commercial are the ones that they'll visit.
Okay.
Any further questions, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Mr. Chairman, next, item C is a acceptance of a grant that our Animal Services Director, Richard Gabbert, will present.
Good morning, Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners. On December 7th, 2023, Animal Services received word that the department has been awarded a grant from PetSmart Charities in the amount of $10,000. Grant funds will assist Animal Services in continuing to provide the appropriate veterinary services, care, supplies, and marketing for our available pets. The project period will begin January 18th, 2024, and will end January 18th, 2025. There is no match requirement for the grant. It is respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners consider accepting the PetSmart Charities Adoption Prep Grant in the amount of $10,000 and authorize the County Manager, Mr. David Smitherman, to sign the necessary forms and/or documents to secure the grant funds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Gabbert.
Mr. Chairman, item D is also a grant acceptance by Mr. Norman Bryson, our Emergency Service Director.
Good morning, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and Commissioners. The item before you is the Emergency Management Planning Grant. This is a federal pass-through grant that we have been receiving yearly for decades now, which we use this money to help support our emergency management program by helping to pay for some of the positions that we have within the department. The amount of funding is for $62,500. And we respectfully request the Board of Commissioners consider approval of the Emergency Management Performance Grant and authorize the county manager to sign the necessary documents on behalf of the county.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Bryson.
Continuing on the theme of accepting other people's money, we are going to move to item E and ask Interim Airport Director Mitch Sprunger to present this item.
Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners, good to see you all. This year's state budget invested $100 million to North Carolina's 10 commercial service airports, which can be used for capital improvements and debt service. The allotment of the funds is based on the airport's annual departing passengers and its economic contribution. NCDOT's State of Aviation report showed that OAJ has an economic output of over $707 million and contributes $36 million in taxes. It also showed that aviation represents 11% of the state's GDP. Based on the NCDOT formula, OAJ's allocation of the funds came out to $2,204,783. These grant dollars are paid in advance and are allocated to eligible projects. The staff respectfully requests that the Board of Commissioners accept the allocation, approve the NCDOT funding agreement, and if approved, authorize the chairman and manager to sign the authorized signature certification form and for the county manager to sign the grant agreement on behalf of the county. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, the final item in this section of the agenda is a budget amendment. In order for us to spend all this money we've been bringing in, we have to budget it. And Ms. Lisa Marlin is here to explain our most recent amendment to the 24 budget.
Thank you, Mr. Smitherman. Good morning, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and Commissioners. I'm pleased to present the following budget amendments for your consideration and approval this morning. Item B39 is a request from Senior Services to increase seniors' health insurance information program grant revenue and expenditures in the amount of $5,523 to align with the final state allocation. Pardon me. Item B40 is a request from Human Resources to increase revenues and expenditures in the amount of $40,000 to utilize the Wellness Award received from Blue Cross Blue Shield in fiscal year 2022 for wellness initiatives for county employees. Item B41 is a request from the library to increase aid to public libraries' state revenue and expenditures in the amount of $42,489 to align with the final state allocations. Item B42 is a request from Emergency Services to increase revenues and expenditures by $62,500 for the EMP grant accepted earlier this morning on Agenda Item 5D. And finally, Item B43 is a request from Animal Services to increase revenues and expenditures by $10,000 for the PetSmart Charities grant accepted earlier this morning on Agenda Item 5C. It is respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners consider the listed budget amendments, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Or any questions or discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
To you, Mr. Smitherman.
Okay, sir, I'll just briefly wrap up my section of the agenda to say Happy New Year. Looking forward to a very productive 2024. We'll report that I had a great pleasure visiting all of our departments, most of our departments during the month of December, met a lot of employees, got to see a lot of good things going on in our organization. So that was a successful and great way to introduce myself to many of the important operations that we are administering here at the county. In 2024, two big things on my mind right now. One is our upcoming Board of Commissioners Planning Retreat. And through our weekly correspondence, you know you have some homework to turn in coming up. So just if you would in the next week, turn in that survey to help us plan for your retreat on January 31st. And then finally, we are really in earnest getting our sleeves up soon with the 2025 budget, which will be a tremendous opportunity not only for me to learn about our organization, but for this board to express its priorities via our investments. And I look forward to having that conversation over the next 5 months. Hope everyone has a good day. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Smitherman. Commissioner Buchanan, we'll start with you this morning, sir.
Thank everybody for being here and Happy New Year.
All right, Commissioner Carpenter.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing on the topic of the budget, I want to thank Mr. Smitherman for answering my question, which was, what can I do to better understand this coming budget season? And he gave me this great book. It's like good for putting someone to sleep every night, but helping me to learn a lot about what's coming up so that I can be more educated, and I thank you very much for that, Mr. Smitherman. Also, I'm so glad that we had an item on the agenda regarding Albert J. Ellis Airport. Mitch kind of stole the thunder with it all, but from the board meeting at the airport in December, it came to my attention, and I was going to bring this up anyway, how wonderful it is and how blessed Onslow County is by the economic impact, which is significant to Onslow County because of Albert J. Ellis and all of the very hard workers over there. You know, much thanks to Chris, who was here before, and Mitch and Sandra and the rest of the staff there for all that you do to bring that to our county. We thank you. One of the things also a highlight from the airport, which I think is very exciting news, Hope for the Warriors is going to be coming to the airport, establishing a spot there where the USO used to be. And if you don't know about Hope for the Warriors, it's an organization that was started by Gary Sinise back in, fun fact, right after 9/11, and it was actually born in Jacksonville. So it's very cool and very exciting. We're waiting to see what all that's going to bring, but you know, keep an eye on probably our website to find out more about that. So we're really grateful for that. But Happy New Year and have a blessed day.
Commissioner Price?
Just Happy New Year and have a great day.
Thank you. Commissioner Bennett?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, thank everybody for being here. Happy New Year. I'm looking forward to an exciting and productive 2024. There are a lot of great things happening in Onslow County. I think we're going to have a banner year for growth and development and good things happening in Onslow County. Thank you all, county employees, for what you're doing to make this the greatest county in the state of North Carolina. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Scott?
Happy New Year, and I wish each and every one a wonderful New Year. Got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of things going on, and I appreciate serving with you. And thank you.
Vice Chairman?
Just a couple of things real quick. First of all, you know, I've heard Commissioner Buchanan say it many times, and I've re-echoed what he said. We got the best employees in the state of North Carolina as far as county employees. Every day they prove themselves. I don't think you're getting paid for what you do, and we hope to rectify that during the workshop. But you guys are great, and I'll give you a couple of instances. Over the holidays, we had a couple of calls that I got directly involved in, one involving food stamps for a poor lady that was a mistake that was made. The thing I really was impressed with, our county owned up to it, stepped up to the plate. Carrie, thank you so much for talking to me on a couple of days and getting it squared away with that lady to make sure she was taken care of, and to go out of your way for the food bank to make sure that she had food. I think that was above and beyond. Mr. Smitherman for intercepting that and coordinating that, and Janelle, obviously, to you as well. So my hat's off to you guys. I mean, people don't see what the county employees do, and the county employees work hard all the time, even during the holidays when we're all celebrating with our family and friends. And Mr. Gabbard, we had an prior issue with a particular animal complaint. I called him and I informed Mr. Smitherman, and he was Johnny on the spot. They went out there on this particular residence. I'm not going to get into details, but asked the right questions. They made a determination that everything was 10-4, and I appreciate you answering it. Even on your day off, you answered it and you took care of it. And that's the kind of dedication that we have with our county employees. And I challenge anyone in this state to go against our county employees, because we have the best, absolutely the best. And with Mr. Smitherman on board, you know, he is going through each department. He's complimenting the people that are in that department, and I'm very excited about that. 24 promises to be a good year. We have our budget workshops that are coming up in the next couple of months, where we'll be sitting down as commissioners, putting out our priorities, figuring things out, and hopefully, you know, our biggest important thing is to keep our general fund balance very healthy, so that we can allocate funds for the appropriate agencies and to meet our requirements. So that's going to be a challenge, but I think we can do well with that. And one last thing, Carrie, I don't think it's given much publicity, but 2016 we started I think it was 2016, we started the campaign for the Dix Crisis Center. And as you all know, we already had the building in the back. And we got our Dix Crisis Center up and running with RI National, International coming in here and staffing it. And we had always talked over those years about the front portion of that building to be utilized. They'd be incorporated into the Dix Crisis Center. The right word would be their ideology, in other words, to be part of that group to help with treatment and to expand our treatment. And suffice it to say, we have a grand opening in January this month, and it's called the BHUC, right? And it's the Behavioral Health, and what's the last part of that acronym? That's right, Behavioral Health Urgent Care, which would be the front part of the Dix Crisis Center, kind of completing a circle that's been needed for some time. But I want to thank Carrie and her predecessor for getting on the bandwagon with this and pushing with this with RI International and Trillium for stepping up to the plate and making this happen, because that's a big step. And, you know, we're ever moving forward to treating mental health and substance abuse, and I think that's great. And we have a three-county partnership involving RI International, and I'm very proud of that. But thank you, Carrie, very much. And other than that, I just want to say thank you very much. I hope you all had a great new year, and I hope 24 is going to be a blessing to all of you, and I'm looking forward to great things for Onslow County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. Just a couple of things real quick. We are moving into the budget cycle, and we have a workshop coming up on the 31st, I believe it is, and we have that homework to complete for all of us to get priorities and things we'd love to have discussed or go in more in depth. However, I tried to open it up and they told me I was not granted access. I'm not sure, but I'll get a hold of IT there and see what I'm doing wrong or not logged into something. But we do all want to get that completed if we haven't got that completed, because 31st is really going to send us into the direction of where we're going to go with the budget. That being said, I think I've talked to most of us up here, and we all are in agreement that we'd love to go ahead and get a proposal or a resolution together to send to Raleigh to grant us permission to increase our sales tax by 1/4 cent.
Absolutely.
So I think everybody's on favor of that as we're moving into the budget cycle, for that to be on the table for them this short session. And with that coming, if that can come to fruition, it'll give us the opportunity to look at the property tax rate and drop that as we're moving into this new budget cycle, if that's something possible. And then maybe we can look at March of trying to get together all the municipalities and the commissioners. We haven't done that in quite some time, and we have several new people that have been elected to some of the new seats in the municipalities. Maybe we get together and how we can do something like that and really see what's going on in the municipalities and work together. And then one of the last things that we would like to do is Jacksonville and Onslow County really work together on looking at the proposal of potential multi-purpose complex, multi-sports complex, and really bring some things to fruition to Onslow County. I've already got great things going on, get some things on the agenda and out there so everybody knows what this board is trying to do together going forward in 2024. I think it's extremely important as we look at the news and we see chaos all around us. The last place we want to have chaos is here in Onslow County, and we work together with our municipalities, with each other, with our school system, and continue to make great positive strides. And let's continue with the problem Onslow County has is growth. Let's make sure we maintain why people want to move here, why people want to retire here, and do that together with everyone from the Onslow County Sheriff's Office to Onslow County Schools to Onslow County, Swansboro, Holly Ridge, Richlands, Jacksonville, all the municipalities, and really bring things to fruition and show everybody in eastern North Carolina and then across the state of what Onslow County is capable of. And the only way we can do that is we all do that together. This board working together and working with the other boards to bring things to fruition. With that being said, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we are adjourned.